What's up, y'all? My name is Tyler. I am your host of Inline Sports. I am super excited to be able to bring some content for y'all. I've got a couple things that I'll talk about today. It's Friday night. Well, I guess Saturday morning. Just got off of work. So, um, big day of college football tomorrow. Not a whole lot of matchups that'll, jump out of the screen at you, but you do have some good matchups. You got Missouri, Texas A&M. Um, Tennessee, Arkansas, little bias there. Get that out of the way. I am a Tennessee fan, but with my rankings and things of that nature, I tend to be more negative on Tennessee than positive. So um, it'll be more of a negative bias for you all. But uh, we will be having some local videos that will cover UT. Um, let's see what else we got. Oregon State is playing a horrific Colorado State team, but watch out for that one. That one might be interesting. We got Syracuse and UNLV, which I believe went final. Let's check the score on that. Last I checked, you'll have to excuse me. This is very unprofessional. um, yeah, Syracuse ended up coming back and winning that one. Um, how about that? Let's go ahead and let's look at that while we're here. Um, a big game from Kyle McCord, 3 touchdowns, 355 yards. He threw the ball 63 times. Tell you what, that air attack was rolling, but ended up winning it on a run from McQuinn Allen. So big game for Syracuse. Moved 4-1. One of a decent team in the ACC. A down year for the ACC. You need all the good teams you can get. Miami at the top. ACC really bailed them out last week. Miami fans, I apologize if you're watching this. You're probably not, but yeah, Virginia Tech definitely should have won that game. I believe the Atlantic Coastal Conference made the phone call and said, let's keep our top 10 playoff contender undefeated. So I think that was, you can argue whether or not that was a catch. I'll give you the argument. You can say, I thought I saw that he didn't have control, but the call on the field with a touchdown, you take 5 minutes, all the announcers and everybody watching, you cannot make a clear decision on whether that was called or not. And you got to go with the call on the field. And Virginia Tech got screwed, and I'll stand on that one. But we got Oregon and Michigan State, which was never really a contest. That's Michigan State going down 10-31. Oregon with the win. Background behind me is my current top 25 for this week. Made that earlier. I think I made that yesterday, but just hadn't got around to posting it. How about that? That is backwards. Well, first video had a little bit of issues. We'll get better as we go. Just how that one works out. Let's see my notes here. I think Clemson, Florida State is going to be a bloodbath. Bloodbath. You want to take whatever number of points that they'll give you for Clemson. But not a whole lot of big games that stand out at you. But look for Iowa to maybe test Ohio State. I'll take the credit if it's true. If Iowa gets handled, I never said that. So a couple things I wanted to get through. We got the top 25 for college football, my personal ranking. Did this based on some strength of schedule, how they've looked eye test wise, and other things that you can't really tell behind me. We'll go through it. You can also find this on my Instagram page for this called the Endline Sports. That is THE Endline Sports. Go check that out if you all want to. I'll be posting stuff on there more and more as we go. Look for this to, start to be a page I can be proud of. Hopefully, bring you all some content that you all can be, proud to watch and enjoy watching. Number one, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide coming off of a major win against Georgia. You can say that they did give up the 28 points, and I can argue that with you. And I'll agree with you in a lot of fronts that DeBoer should have put the foot on the throat, but I think you got to give credit to Georgia coming out, making the adjustments, being able to contain Milroe a little bit better. Um, but sometimes you come up short, and Georgia did. Gave it a real fight in that second half. If you could have given even a tenth of that the first half, probably win that game. But college football is college football. Great environment. Alabama Crimson Tide going to stay or move in to the number one team. Texas going to move them down to two simply because Alabama won that game. I think they looked okay against a very, very, very bad Mississippi State team, which we'll talk about some SEC rankings later. But yeah, Mississippi State, horrific, but able to take care of business with the backup. Number three, I have the Tennessee Volunteers, simply because of you got the win over Oklahoma, top 15 team in the country. When they're playing well, I think that the offense is going to get figured out. And I think you need to give Tennessee's defense some credit for making that offense look that bad. You had some questions about them, but they never looked that bad. Putting a 5-star on the bench in the first half, that's a big achievement, regardless of what you say. And, they beat the dog out of NC State, and that's not saying a whole lot anymore, hoping that they would have been a little better. But, that's where we're at. Ohio State, number 4. Ohio State's a great team, talent top to bottom. You got Mecca Buka. Jeremiah Smith is just a unbelievable talent. Got a good defense. Played against Michigan State pretty well. Michigan State's not a very good team, but handle business against who they're supposed to handle. I only brought them down to 4 behind Tennessee because they haven't played a ranked team yet, and Tennessee's played 2. Georgia moving to 5. I don't penalize them a whole lot for that loss. Alabama's a really good team. I think Georgia's a really good team. I think that they came across a game that they didn't come out as strong as they should have, and they paid for it. You come out flat against Alabama in Tuscaloosa, you're going to lose. You have to be on from the get-go, and they just weren't. But overall, I think you'll see that second half Georgia team rest of the year. I don't think you'll see first half Georgia maybe again. Penn State at number 6. Penn State with a big win against Illinois. I think you can look at them and say, tough game against Bowling Green. But Bowling Green's a sneaky good team. I'll tell you what, they've got a tight end, 8th or top 10 in the country in receiving right now. That guy is a workhorse for Bowling Green. They've got the is it Basilak over there, quarterback, the old Missouri guy? You'll have to fact check me on that. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that might be right. Let me just check for you real quick while I'm sitting here. But yeah, I think Penn State is a really good team. How about that? Look at me go. It is Connor Basilak over at Missouri, the former over at Bowling Green, former Missouri product. I like Basilak when he was at Missouri. Gave us some good games against Tennessee, and Tennessee wasn't very good. But yeah, I think Penn State's going to be a good team. They're going to be one of the big contenders in the Big Ten with Ohio State and my number 7 team, Oregon. Oregon just finished up the beatdown on Michigan State. Again, not great. They beat a now top 25 team in Boise State, so got to give them some credit for that. And wow, that we're going to hit on GT later, but that guy can run. Wow. I don't know if I've seen a runner that dominant since maybe Derrick Henry. And I know it's early. I know he hasn't played a whole lot of people, and I mean, he's looking like to me, a really quick Melvin Gordon type. Could be Darren Sproles, um, Darren McFadden, excuse me. He looks like he could finish this season as one of the best rushing seasons we've seen in recent memory. If he keeps on pace, he's got 13 touchdowns, close to 900 yards rushing, averaging a first down a carry. The guy's playing out of his mind. But we're on Oregon. Excuse me. Um, that guy should. He, we'll get to that. But yeah, Oregon at number 7. I think Oregon's a good team. Still got to give me a little bit more proof to move up further, maybe into that top 5. I think they can do it, and they probably will do it with their schedule. Um, Big matchup against Ohio State. We'll be excited for that one. Number 8, we have Miami. Hurricanes they're a good team. Cam Ward is electric. I love the way he plays. Watching him look so nonchalant in the pocket. Um, he just looks like he doesn't give a damn back there, and I like it. They've got a good team. They've got Restrepo is one of the better receivers in the country, in my opinion. What a great pickup. They've got a really good defense with Barron leading the way in sacks back there. Knoxville product came out of Tennessee. Wish we could have kept him, but on to better, bigger things for him. Missouri at number 9. They haven't looked great, but they're winning games. They're undefeated. Got to give them their props. They'll have a chance to prove themselves. Just moving them up because they are undefeated and their schedule is very favorable. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Clemson at number 10. They do have the big loss to Georgia when this whole thing started back in week 1. It just didn't look good. But since then, I've been able to get the offense running. Is that because they're not playing Georgia's defense? Is that because they've figured it out? I think people are too quick to give up on old Cade Klubnik. I think he'll be just fine. I think Clemson's going to be top of the ACC, probably giving Miami a run for their money into the ACC championship game. Moving on, we got number 10. Number 11, Michigan. I think Michigan is going to really see if they can just run the ball against everybody. And pretty soon they'll probably get caught up by a good rushing defense and probably just, are you going to force poor guy, force Orgy to throw the ball? Can you do it? I don't know. But elite defense, rushing game has been there. The Edwards kid has struggled, but the guy behind him is very talented. I'm not sure his name, but seen him play. He's very talented. I think Michigan is going to give people problems just because of how good that defense is, and they're going to just see how long they can go without throwing it. Little throwback football, if you will. Southern Cal is my number 12 team. I think that Lincoln Riley has finally decided, I cannot rely on this offense to do everything for me and just try and outscore people, which, he's been able to do sometimes. But once you go up against a decent defense coupled with an offense that can, breathe, USC is Lincoln Riley's teams in the past have struggled. I think that this is probably the best defense Lincoln Riley's ever had. They're competent. They really have given trouble to people. I think they are one play away from being undefeated, winning that game in the Big House. That's why Michigan's ahead of them. But number 13, the old Rebels, we are knocking them way down. I don't see it. I think they're going to get beat by South Carolina this week. I think this is what happens when you schedule cupcakes like they did. You cannot play Georgia Sisters for the Poor and expect to be ready for SEC play, ready for a Mark Stoops Kentucky team that always comes out hot. They gave Georgia problems. That defense is good. Other than a fluke game, well, maybe not a fluke game, but a real shellacking they took on from South Carolina. I think that Kentucky team is going to be pretty good. But Ole Miss, just horrific on offense. Couldn't get the ball back on defense. Lost the time of possession by a ton at home. Got embarrassed. That game was a much bigger ass beating than that score showed. LSU behind them at I believe that's number 14. LSU has the one loss to Southern Cal, but they've been pretty good so far. I think that they were pretty iffy roughing the passer call. I don't even know what it was. How do you throw a pick, right? Garrett Nussmeier throws an awful interception, just awful. And the guy's running it back. He's got the blockers ahead of him. A blocker goes and takes out the quarterback, and you can't throw a flag. The guy wasn't like he was just standing there. Um, he engaged to go after the runner, and the guy blocked him. You're the refs. What are you doing there? South Carolina fans, I feel for you there. As a Vol fan, had some issues between us, but you all should have beat that team. And if you did, you'd be in this area. I think that LSU is a very good team. I do worry with Harold Perkins out for the year that their defense is really going to struggle because he was the heart and soul of that defense. And we'll have to see if they can, you know, keep the fight going. Iowa State, sneaky number 15, undefeated in Big 12 play, possible. I mean, they are my highest ranked Big 12 team. Um, Better or worse, I'm rocking with the Cyclones, like what their coach is doing up there. They have a really good coach. I think it's Matt Campbell, maybe. That sounds right. Um, but Cyclones, great, great football team, really gritty. Um, still have some ways to go, but in a really wide open Big 12. Look for Iowa State to give them a run. I think that they're a good team, top to bottom. They've got really good running tack. Um, just have to see what happens. Now, Oklahoma will be my number 16. Now, this is a little controversial. I get it. And you probably think, oh, Tennessee fan trying to make his team look good for beating Oklahoma. Yeah, I mean, no, but I think that their defense is good enough to carry them to several wins this year. And with Hawkins running, going to have to use his legs, I think that they've got a good shot. I really do. Oklahoma is coached by one of the elite defensive minds in all of college football. Brett Venerables has succeeded on defense everywhere he's gone, and he has put together one of the best defenses Oklahoma has had in several years. And I think if you can just put together a serviceable offense, you can have a good team. And I think they can be a top 20, top 15 team by the end of the year. Notre Dame coming behind them at number 17. I'm just not high on Notre Dame. I'm putting them here because of the record, because of beating Louisville. If Louisville doesn't poop on themselves in that first quarter and their quarterback freaks out like he did, they win that game. I thought they were going to win that game, and I mean, Oklahoma lost to what has proven to be a not very good Northern Illinois team, losing to Buffalo. Buffalo. Buffalo can beat them, but Notre Dame can't. I don't see this team succeeding. Um, I don't think they're a very good team. I don't think that they are, an elite team, but I think that they're a good team. I think they're a good team. I like to crap on Notre Dame. Not a big fan. I try to be unbiased, but not a fan of Notre Dame. Apologize any Fighting Irish fans out there, but I'll still give them 17. Their record's good enough to keep them there. They don't have the hardest schedule, so they'll probably have a pretty solid record by the end of it. And I think that maybe they could turn around. Marcus Freeman, I think he's a decent coach. Notre Dame fans, are you missing Brian Kelly? Because I mean, Brian Kelly, you didn't want him because he lost the big game, but Because Freeman, he loses the bad game. You just throwing that out there. BYU, the old Utah Proud. Um, would have thought that the University of Utah would be my Big 12 uh, school on here, besides a couple others. Got two others on here, which we'll get to, but BYU undefeated. Um, Old Brigham Young University has got a ball club. I mean, they're not bad. They're a good team. I think that they have a good chance to win the Big 12 as long with Iowa State. They're a good team. Some really strong fellas on there, and I think they'll have a shot at the Big 12 and maybe college football playoff. They can pull that off. I don't know if they'll get an at-large bid. Maybe they can because of the Big 12, but I think that overall they're a solid team. Have a good shot. Uh, the darlings of the group of five, Boise State, rolling in here at number 19. Um, I think if you could put number 19 and just put a picture of Ashton Jeanty, I believe that's how it's pronounced. You could do it. That fella is bonkers. I mean, if you're sitting around, you got nothing to do, and you want to watch some ridiculous football, look up some Ashton Jeanty highlights. Kid's got 13 touchdowns. I mean, they can go as far as he'll take them, and I think he'll take them far. Right now, they're my group of five selection for the college football playoff. I think that they're a solid squad. They gave Oregon everything that they could handle. A couple plays away from winning that one. But if you're a Boise State fan, big Oregon fan, want them to do well, so that close loss looks good. Indiana, the old Hoosiers are coming in here at number 20. How about that? Would not have predicted that at the beginning of the season, but they look good. They're undefeated. The old Sigretti. It sounds like a cigarette. You know, each their own, I guess. But Sigretti, I believe, is their head coach. He's done a phenomenal job over there. Real confident, proving his confidence in his preseason addresses with the fans, talking about how much he hates Purdue, which I like seeing that in college football. Some guy just getting up there and trashing on the rivals. You don't see that in the pros. You don't see that rivalry, that passion, that competitiveness. I think the competitiveness is there, but it's really in your face in college football. And 5-0, haven't played the strongest schedule, but they're undefeated. Watch out for the Hoosiers, man. Watch out for the Hoosiers. Watch out. Talking to you, Ohio State. Behind them, we have number 21, Louisville. I would drop them further for that Notre Dame loss, but God, I thought they were I thought they had it. I really did. I still think this is a good football team. They're going to win this weekend, probably pretty handily. But Louisville's a good football team. I think that they're going to, dark horse in the ACC, along with probably nobody, because the ACC is some hot garbage this year. Hot, steaming, stinking garbage. Horrific. Terrible. Really, really bad. Aside from maybe these three, that's a big conference, and you're just not good. Not a good team. Besides Miami, Clemson, and Louisville, and I think those still need to be tested. So, but I'm very, very excited for Clemson to put an ass beating on Florida State this weekend. Ass beating. Ass beating. It'll be fun. You want a few like me dislike Florida State? Probably a good one to tune into. They give you a smile on Saturday afternoon. Kansas State is my number 22 team. I think that they're also up there in the Big 12. Is it Avery Johnson? Is that his name? Their quarterback over there. I think he is going to develop. And that loss to BYU, he just disappeared. Um, I don't really see that happening again. Just that game, it was everything that could go wrong for Kansas State went wrong. And it showed on the scoreboard at the field. BYU won dominantly. Um, but yeah, Kansas State at number 22, number 23, Texas A&M coming off a win against Arkansas over at Jerry's World in Dallas, which is that guy he just loves to say, "Oh, look at my money," but won't pay his players. Uh, Shout out the Cowboys on a Friday night. Always fun. Do you see him land his helicopter at practice? Like your team is what, 2-2? That's right, 2-2, looking rough. And you got all these injuries. You're probably gonna struggle this week, and you're gonna land your helicopter in the middle of the field at practice and disrupt everybody. Come on, Jerry. Come on, Jerry. What are you doing? What are you doing? CeeDee Lamb, kill it for my fantasy league this week. Need you. How about sorry, little we'll hit with that in a second. Number 24, UNLV. Um, Probably going to change that a little bit now with the loss to Syracuse, but we'll go ahead and keep it rolling because we'll stick with my guns from where this was and get after me if you want to. UNLV, good team, resilient team. I think they'll bounce back from the Syracuse loss. I mean, really gave them a run for their money, even with all the drama they've had with Sluka. And what a disaster. What a disaster. I mean, both parties. I mean, it looks bad for the school, looks bad for Sluka now that UNLV really dominated Fresno State and is now given Syracuse a good run for their money, which is not a bad football team. That's where I got them. Rutgers, my number 25 team. Rutgers has been the laughing stock of the Big Ten for years. I know you guys are struggling out there in Jersey, giving you all a little love. That team is a hard-nosed, old-school, punch-you-in-the-mouth football team, and I love it. Love it. Just run it down your throat. Excuse me. Run it down your throat type of ball club. Don't have a whole lot of those anymore, and I'm all here for it. Love it. Super excited to see their game this weekend. I think it'll be a good one. But that's my top 25. Yeah, that's what I got. But heading into this week, I think we've got some good games. It'll be a good slate. I think there's definitely going to be a big upset this weekend. Not going to say who because I don't know, but that's what I got for my top 25. Thank you for tuning into the Inline Sports. Super happy to have you on a early Saturday morning now. But I appreciate y'all hanging in with me in a bit of a swivel chair. That's why I've been moving. But we will do our best to, work on some of this quality. I've got a microphone somewhere. I'll find it. But only up from here. My first video. I'm super excited to start this journey with y'all. Hopefully we can get some of y'all on here and continue to progress forward. Super happy to be with you all. And go Balls. I know some of y'all are going to hate that. Yeah, that's what I got. Y'all have a good one and crack one open for me this Saturday. Enjoy the college football slate.